Child support, child support, child support. That is what I'm talking about this time around, family. There is a lawsuit for $627 billion going on, and it's being filed by the lady. Her name is Anisha Sutton. That's ANETIASUTTON. She's filing a lawsuit, and that's a very big number. She's saying child support is taking advantage of people, and it has to stop. And she's filing this lawsuit. So I'm gonna share my screen and let you all see what her case is about and some of the things she's putting in the lawsuit. Let me get the screen sharing. Hold on. I just want you guys to see so you can get an idea. Here we go. So the claimants, people who were harmed by child support agencies throughout all of the United States. And the reason she's filing this lawsuit, she's saying claimants, and I don't know if that includes women. It could be. I know a majority of men are on child support, but there are women on child support too. And she's saying the claimants who have had to deal with inhumane treatment during their child support court orders, deprivation of rights, violations, and this has affected millions of people. And these are some of the things she's saying are the causes of why she's bringing this lawsuit. So when I read some of these, I didn't know about wrongful deaths by warrant. I don't know if that means a warrant's been issued for failure to pay child support, and police have actually ended up killing people who were on child support. Wrongful deaths by suicide. I guess people who just can't take the payments, they overwhelmed, their money is dry. Wrongful deaths by homicide, a domestic case that could have went either way. Defamation of character, privacy law, due process law, child safety law, equal protection laws, parental alienation, mental distress, public endangerment by police, rampant, rampart corruption. I think she might mean rampant corruption, and criminal offenses by officials. So these are some of the things being named in her lawsuit against child support in general. She's just filing it against the child support agency on behalf of uh, men and, like I said, possibly women who have had a bad experience dealing with child support court. $627 billion. So that is a lot. So they're going to file it in the state of Maryland. Those are the damages, Maryland federal court. And according to the child support enforcement, states have collected almost $32 billion on behalf of all of the 14.7 million children who are involved in child support courts. So I guess that's just the kids of all of the people who are on child support and who's being getting that money due from the child support payments. So that's a lot of children getting child support payments from the other parent. And this is in 2018. That's how much was collected during that year. So, and then again, settlement yet to be determined. They're still working on it. And so this is big. This news just came out, and it's saying child support is doing more harm than good. And so we've got to bring this class action lawsuit against the child support agencies. So I don't know how many of you listening to me are on child support, were on it. Uh, did you? How was your experience with it? I'm gonna let you all hear a little bit more about why she's filing the lawsuit in her own words. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use.
Family, enough is enough. Child support is doing more harm than good. Now, I wrote this blog post that has all of the details, and I had a computer robot reading it, but for some reason, the recording didn't work. So I'm just gonna have to ask you guys to just go to the link in the video description box to check out the blog post. Click on that and read everything that I said. It's a really short read. It's going to take you less than 5 minutes to get through the who, what, where, when, why, how. But the why is because too many people are being hurt. And the very people that this program, this social program, is supposed to help or proclaim that they want to help, they are harming. Because anytime you throw the mother or the father, either one of the parents, in jail and threaten their livelihoods and threaten their very lives, and in fact, some of them have lost their lives, due to police encounters while being arrested for a warrant that was issued due to non-payment, right? And some people actually lost their lives, and this is a crying shame. It has to stop. So I want to look into raising up a team, but it's going to take all of us. It's going to take a village. This is going to take a village. So, and not to mention a lot of financial resources, but I have a plan so that everyone can contribute with the purchase of a copy of my book. It's going to be the best investment that you've ever spent. The book is going to be available on Amazon, and that will allow me to, provide a fair wage for the members of the team that I'm going to put together for this child support class action. So that's the dream. All right, that's the dream. It's gonna happen, but I need every hand on board, all hands on deck.
So you heard a little bit of why she's trying to do it, kind of similar to what I read, and she's just basically, she needs the money to fund it. So she's trying to do that through selling her book, like she said, on Amazon. She needs the team and the resources. So that's a very big lawsuit. $627 billion. Yes, $billion with a B, to try and get this money awarded back to people who are part of the child support system, and the ones that have passed away, I guess that would go to relatives. But yeah, it's a very big lawsuit, and a huge undertaking by her, and what she is trying to do. And so, I guess good luck to her. Hopefully, she can raise the money she needs. It's probably a lot of, like you said, men and women who are in agreement that child support is not necessarily the best experience that they've had to deal with. I know I've heard about people having their driver's license taken away. They can't make it to the job because they get put in jail. So, you get that whole thing with child support. And then, I don't have any kids, and I guess even before we even deal with child support, now we got to look at how we even get here. And I know people have told me about me not being a father at the moment, and saying uh, your legacy, you're not going to, who's going to carry it on, and it wouldn't just be my legacy, it would be our legacy. My wife's legacy as well, that name being carried on. And if you're not careful, when the conditions before their legacy comes, and the legacy is that child is born into a bad situation, they can mess up your legacy. So I don't think anybody wants their legacy to be messed up because uh, you were messed up before the child came in. Because it's three biggest commitments that women and men make between each other. So you got the signing of a lease to rent or putting your name on a mortgage to buy, signing of a marriage license, and signing of a birth certificate. And so I would say with me, uh, personally, I've not ever had children because I was never married. Now, that didn't have anything to do necessarily with religion or anything like that. You know, you hear that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. And I think that's true. But for me, it was more about testing the levels of commitment. So, first off, the first one, we're living together, signing this lease, mortgage, whatever. We'll probably just go with lease. We're renting, because that's all you're doing when you're dating is renting with the option to buy. That's all that is you know, you're renting the person. And so now we dating, then now we start to live together. Can we master that commitment first? That's my first thing. Can we get along living under the same roof? Yes, no. And if we can, then okay, now let's move to the next commitment. Then if that's the case, then I'm down on one knee to her and saying, what's it going to be, you and me, we're going to make it last forever. So now we get to the wedding and we saying the I do's, and now we're signing the second commitment, that marriage license. So now both of our names on that. Yeah, both our names was on the lease. Now we on the marriage license and probably about to eventually start looking for a mortgage, maybe, maybe not. Either way, we got our names on two pieces of legal documents now. So now we under the second commitment, marriage. So forget the wedding, that's like graduation, but you got people who can't find jobs in their field after they graduate. So now that the marriage part would be equivalent to the career part after college graduation. So can we get along in this marriage for the next 2, 3 years? How's that commitment going? We under one roof. Okay, we mastered that. Can we master marriage? So that's going good. Okay, no problems. We doing good financially, mentally, physically. So now then we can go to that third commitment. And it was just my whole process of for me to be a father and why it hasn't happened. And so now we decided, okay, we're gonna have this child or you know our legacy. And so now we're about to sign a third document, which is that birth certificate. Her name and the man's name is on that. So now you got your name on three different legal documents: lease, mortgage, whatever you want to do, marriage license, and birth certificate. Now, two of those you can get rid of. The other one is permanent. You all can figure that out. And so now, and even then, once the baby comes, you know, just in case you all want to have a second one, we got to evaluate how things go with the first one. Sometimes the second one shouldn't even be in the picture, but people still do that for whatever reason. And I'm not saying just going through these levels of commitment that's testing just, okay, can we master this, that, and then finally the baby is necessarily going to work out because there is no right way. That's a nice order to do it in, what I just said. But even that can still end in child support. You know, divorce, but then I'm still attached to this person forever because we got this birth certificate. And so, and my whole thing is looking at, as far as leading up to being a parent, you got prerequisites, things. Look at it like you can't take calculus before you take trigonometry. If you go right to calculus, you're looking at it confused. The child is calculus, but you didn't take trigonometry, so now you're trying to cope with trying to parent, you know, a child, and you all really didn't make it work under the marriage. Or you might not even got to marriage. Some people get to living with each other, skip marriage commitment, and go right to the child commitment. Well, some people not even living with each other at all and go right to the child. You just skipping all the prerequisites. And then now this child is born into an environment where now this child is your legacy, you all's legacy, man and a woman's, but the legacy may not carry on the way it should as far as carrying your name on because you brought that legacy, that child into the wrong type of environment without actually testing out other things first. So that's the order in which why I still am not a father because I would have to go through just those tests and the commitments. I feel men and women, if you can at least master living with each other and master marriage, okay, you showing proof of commitment because the baby is a permanent commitment. And so, and I've never lived with any woman a day in my life, and I'm 39, made 31 this year. So, yeah. And then I would also like to think how many people would want an actual do-over. See, people don't necessarily like to be honest about do-overs because they feel like they're disowning their current children. You'll ask some people, because I know men who can't stand their baby mama, I know women who can't stand their baby daddy. Some of them are actually still legally married to their baby daddy and they still can't stand him and vice versa. He can't stand his wife. They just separated. But to actually ask them the question, would you do it over? You got a lot of people, mothers and fathers, they'll say no because, if I hadn't gotten with this person, then I wouldn't have you. And they're talking about their son and their daughter. No, you really got to be honest. People might, when they say they would do a do-over, it's like now they don't want the kids. No, any person you can have and still have a beautiful son, beautiful daughter with whoever this other person would be if you got a chance to do over. Your current kids will be outside out of mind, so you got to be honest about that. If there was a machine called do, D for do over, you jump right in there, and it takes you back to when you all first met. You all know when you all first met the person you had kids with, or just one kid with, Friday the 13th, or March 7th, June 9th, whenever the date was. And that do over machine gonna jump you right back into that date. As soon as you see that person where y'all met, now it's just a high and a buy, just like that. High and buy, now that changes everything. Because you know what you know. How many people, men and women, how many fathers and mothers out there listening to me will take a chance in that do-over machine? And you got to be honest. I don't want to hear, well, what about my child? I wouldn't have them. Get a whole nother children who you'll love on. They'll look different. They'll be with a different person. Different DNA. But if you got the chance to do it over based on what you're going through now with that other person you're trying to co-parent with, would you actually make a change and be honest? I would. I can't stand this lady I had kids with. I get to do over because that person probably wasn't the only person that was on your mind at the time. You may have had 2 or 3 other possibles. You just got with this one, and now it's a lesson learned. But if we can repeat, would you jump in that do-over machine? And like I said, I would completely have peace of mind. Might not be on child support. The situation might work out a lot better. And so that's what I'm coming here to say. Don't be afraid to say, yeah, I love my kids that I have right now, but if I could get another crack at it, I would see if I can, another person who was around at the time. I think I might actually have a conversation with them first instead of, who I'm in the current situation now with. And I got a birth certificate with this individual, which is permanent. And so that's why I've always, taken this whole thing real serious and about starting families because a lot of people, that's another problem. A lot of people out here just have babies. They are not a family. Yes, it's a man, a woman, a child. Now you all just have a child that you're raising. There's no family there at all. And that's why the household, the situation, you two, the man and the woman, mom and dad can't stand each other. There's a lot of steps that were probably skipped uh, up to that point before you even had the baby, or you actually did go through living with each other and being married. But there's no stopping any of that. Anybody can live with another person, then still get married. Okay, should have actually never even been living with the person to begin with, but you just ignoring everything. Now we married. Okay, now here come the baby, and when the baby comes, that's when everything really hits the fan because now you all just can't walk away from each other. And so that goes back, that ends up leading to possible child support. And while you have this lady here, filing this lawsuit because of what a lot of people have went on in when it comes to child support. And so just seeing some of the reasons and what people have gone through, that's another reason why I always come back to those three commitments, just to test at least you all's loyalty with each other. Can we make it through just living with each other first? Everybody legacy, and I've been told it's selfish if you don't be a parent, and but you got to respect people's decision who don't want to be parents at all. But for those that do, but I got certain steps like myself, yeah, we don't want to bring a legacy baby into a situation where it's toxic, and now that child, based on what they seen growing up, is possibly going to ruin the legacy, your legacy, mom's legacy, dad's legacy, because they're an extension of you, and your child's going to show you all of your mistakes. And but if they operating out here based off of a toxic background, parents didn't really do what they needed to do for them because parents don't really even know how to do anything for each other because they shouldn't even be together. The child's gonna operate as an adult in a way in where you know it's not going to be a good look, and so now your legacy is ruined. After all of that talk about well, who's going to carry on your name, and so yeah, when we talk about these commitments out here, I think that's a nice proving ground. Again, this is not 100% guaranteed. Living with a person first, then marriage, then have a child. I think that's a good order to follow. But nothing's the right way because we've seen people do that and still end up divorced, dealing with child support, things like that. But I think men and women have to put themselves through that test, and I think that's a good order. And I'm also bringing the legal thing into it. You sign your name on a lease or mortgage, marriage license, and birth certificate, and the birth certificate is permanent. You got to remember that it's permanent. The other two, hey, when that lease up, we got 2 more months. No, we won't be renewing it, and he won't be renewing her, and she won't be renewing him. All right, we can get that out of there. We get a divorce, sign those papers, but that birth certificate is forever. And so, not living together, not married, but now you got a co-parent, and that can lead to all type of nasty things. Of course, child support is one of the number ones, and I believe it's more men on it than women. As I hear men complaining the most about it, and why women want to, they say, do them dirty or try and go to court and get more child support money from the men. I like to hear more from women out there too who are on it and how much you're paying a month to the dad, and how's that going for the women. Any women listening who are on child support, if you want to share that in the comments. And of course, the men, if you're going through it, put that in the comments. Or if you're done, your child is 18, how much money did you pay all the way out through all of those years? Put that down in the comments so we can really see what's going on out here. And then you see more of why Anisha is wanting to file this lawsuit against just the child support agency in general. And so that's definitely, yeah, that's a lot of money. And I don't know how the payouts would be, who would get what, and what type of money, because I don't even know how they would distribute that. $627 billion. That is a lot, and that's why she's saying, Amelia, she's saying she needs funding, so she's trying to sell her book as well on Amazon. I don't know how people might take that if they think, okay, well, I think she's genuine and trying to actually file this lawsuit, but she just needs the team, legal resources, and the money. So she's going the book route as well. I don't know. People might look at that and say that Amelia is trying to um, maybe just make some money by, hey, buy my book so I can file this lawsuit. But she seems on the up and up. And so if you are a victim of child support, it's her situation is probably worth looking into. Amelia, she has a website called AneliaSutton.com. That's AneliaSutton.com. Her name is Amelia, and she's trying to actually help people who have to go through this legal system. As crazy as it is, I say try and stay as far away from the legal system as you can. I mean, if you're out here trying to get a divorce, obviously uh, you're going to have to go through that divorce lawyer, but that child support court and a lawyer for that gets really messy. And some of the reasons of why she's filing it about death through warrant. I don't know people that actually lost their lives dealing with child support. So things can go left real quick. But yeah, to be honest out there, if you can do the do over and just tell that person hi bye on the day that you met, say yes. Don't worry about people looking at you like, well, what about your kid? You'll get another one from that next person you actually say hi to, and then you'll have a connection with them. We got to start thinking like that and stop thinking just because we would change the parent that we don't like the kids. No, like I said, I would jump in that do-over machine. And deep down, people were honest with themselves right now, based on who the other parent is and what they went through with them, and the stress they go through right now with trying to raise their children. If they could do a do over, especially thinking about somebody else who really had their heart, but they kind of curved and then ended up talking to this person, and now the outcome is not what they thought it would be in 2024. If you would do it a do over, actually be honest about that and say, yeah, I would choose someone else. It was between this person, that person back then, and I went that way. But unfortunately, there is no do over machine. So now whoever the other parent is, you just have to deal with it. Hopefully, they have a level head. You know, a lot of these arguments over people who want to get back with a person. You have men and women on child support, probably from a dad that want to get back with her. You have men and women on child support, probably from a dad that want to get back with her, or a man, a mom that want to get back with the dad, but it's not happening. Mom moved on, dad moved on, and so child support and all other type of anger issues come about, and now people are just you know doing this angry co-parenting thing. And so a lot of this stuff is being done out of spite too. I've heard a lot of people say child support is just being done out of spite. They don't. It's not about even putting the person on child support. It's about them wanting to get back with them. They're mad because of the breakup. They see the other person doing well, maybe with a new person, so now they're just putting them through things. And so, you know, like if you can avoid that or you can do it over, like I said, you being honest, I think people would. And I've always, you know, wanted to avoid them situations as well about some lady being upset, and so now she want to put me on child support for whatever reason because she's mad that we're not together anymore. So again, that's why I go back to those commitments. At least it's some type of testing around just to see should we even be living together, let alone signing a birth certificate. Those are all legal documents: the mortgage, lease, marriage license, birth certificate. You know, are you sure you want to sign all three with that person? That's the thing. So step by step. No calculus before taking trigonometry. You get confused. The baby is calculus. That's the hardest. That's the end. And then don't bring a calculus two in there, which is the second baby. You know, some people shouldn't have went past baby number one, and here they are with the two. And now things are stressful and it's a struggle, and you know they may not be getting the help that they feel they should be getting from the other parent. He feeling like mom not active enough, or she feeling like dad is just not there. And so these are the consequences of all of that. And so legacy, no legacy, legacy can be messed up, with your name being carried on by a child that should not have been here in the first place, because they don't know how to. They're gonna be a representation to you, and the way things went with their parents wasn't the best, and so they don't really know how to carry on, you know, your name in the best light, because they came from a place of darkness between mom and dad. So yeah, legacy is not everything unless you make it your job, mom and dad, to really put an environment of love between yourselves first, and then you know the child. And so that's my thing on it. Remember, you know, those commitments, and just because you went through them doesn't mean that a baby should come, because some of those commitments, like I said, were failed experiments already. Yet you decided to move forward because no one can stop you from living with a person or marrying a person. So you just got men and women out here flying blind, and now the end result, you got children with this person that you can't get a do over with. Some of y'all are married to these people still, and some of you never were married. Some of you are divorced. Either way it goes, you know, co-parenting situation is getting on your nerves. So, you know, everybody on the outside looking in, men and women listening who have no children, you know, look at those who doing what they're going through. If you involved with a person right now who has a child or more, and just listen to them, and when they complain and they just trying to relax, take all that into consideration. Whether you're thinking about having a child with them, and now it's going to be a blended family, or if there's going to be a person that comes after them, and you're just trying to decide, man, do I really want to deal with living with this person? Let's just start there. Because we keep jumping to having a baby with a person, that shouldn't even be a talk until much later down the line. Can we live under the same roof? Let's start there. You know, commitment one, commitment two, the marriage, commitment three, the child. And so that was always been my steps up to this point. I've never made through commitment one. I've never lived with any woman. So yeah, but I'm not dealing with child support, and I don't have no baby mama that I can't stand. You know, so it's worked out the way it's supposed to, where I've been able to avoid that. But have nothing against marriage, though. I still get married, but you know I'm aware of all of these other things that are floating around. Child support is one of the big ones. And now you see why this lady's filing a lawsuit. So good luck to her. And again, if anybody who's going through it, would you actually do a do-over and get a different parent than you have now, or who you co-parenting with, choose somebody else? Please be honest. Let me know in the comments if you would do the do-over. If you're on child support right now, ladies and gentlemen, are you off of it? And how was that experience? You know, I know women who have never put the father on child support, so they worked out an agreement, left the courts out of there. But yeah, things get in court, they get messy. Child support, divorce, all of that. So just keep all of that in mind, and then see how your legacy turns out if you make it all the way to the baby. You really have to love on those kids, especially if your situation didn't work out and you can't stand baby mom, can't stand baby daddy. You're going to have to work even extra harder so those children are raised in a positive environment. But hey, what do I know? Put it in the comments, like, share, and subscribe, and stay committed. Practice commitment. I'm out.